Welcome to yet another edition of the Stats and Stacks podcast. For today, we're going over UFC Baku Hill versus Rountree. First things first, make sure you smash the like button. Give a follow over on Twitter, over on Instagram, over on TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's the Stats and Stacks podcast. Quick recap of last week. Edmund came through. I can't even remember who the other lock was, but they came through. I know both locks hit. We had one dog come through, and then we had both totals come through. So going 5 of 6 on official bets was nice. Overall, a very, very, very profitable week for us. I loved it. I would like to say we're just going to continue the good times. We're going to keep this ball rolling. But this card is damn near impossible. Just know that we are over at not Saudi Arabia, but we're over in like the Middle East. And a lot of times there's a lot of weird scorecards that happen down there. So a lot of huge favorites, a lot of unreliable fighters, and a pretty jazzed up crowd with some questionable judging. It's probably going to be damn near impossible to come out on top unless you really do your research. And even with the research, I don't feel great about it, but we're going to give it an old sailor's try and go ahead and just jump right into the card here. Only 12 fights, not a lot of cancellations, only one canceled so far. So let's begin with one of the hardest fights right off the get go. We have Hamdi Abdullah Wahab at minus 170 going up against Muhammad Usman at plus 140. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 240, under 2.5 plus 180. A lot of this fight card is going to be picking someone to win, but betting the other side because of this line. Am I going to do it on the very first fight of the night? I don't know. Let's start with Hamdi. Hamdi is not from I can't even say Azerbaijan, but he is Egyptian. He has a Muslim background. I mean, Abdul Wahab. I mean, come on. He's 32 years old. He may or may not have the crowd behind him. He supposedly has good wrestling. He was on the Egyptian wrestling team. He kind of didn't do great taking down Jamal Pogue, so it's a little questionable. But he did take down Dontel Mays quite a few times. So obviously, you can wrestle if you're on an Olympic team, but the Egyptian team isn't anything to write home about. His striking's not good, but he does have a tendency to crowd forward and swing heavies. He has a ton of knockouts on his record. His jiu-jitsu is not good, but he is practicing really hard, competing in grappling competitions as of late. He's extremely hittable when he's on the feet, but when he hits you, he does hit pretty hard. He does make your head jerk back, or he can put your lights out. So, all in all, he has an Olympic wrestling pedigree, but he's just an okay wrestler. His striking's not good, but he hits decently hard. But his cardio and his BJJ are trash. He's just trying to get better at it. He's 32, but it's a heavyweight, so that's still kind of young for heavyweight. Still room to improve. The dude's only 4-0. On the other side, Usman's 36. This is basically the finished product here. Do you have anything good with Muhammad Usman? No, absolutely not. I mean, he's a dog to Hamdi Abdullah. That is enough said. He's 36 years old. He'll have a 7-inch reach advantage, which is useful because he does have a snappy little jab on him. He has a wrestling background, not Olympic level, but he did wrestle a little, I think, in junior college, definitely in high school with his brother Kamaru. His cardio's hit or miss. His nickname's the Motor, and I've seen him go a hard 15. I've also seen him gas out in like the Ultimate Fighter and against Mick Parkin and such. So I don't know. Sometimes he has good cardio, sometimes he does not. His jujitsu is just as bad as Hamdi's. Hamdi's might be even better than Usman's, which is sad. He's also very hittable. And his striking, he's not great. He backs up a ton. He doesn't like to get hit at all. He gives very, very bad optics whenever you hit this guy, whether he's rocked or not. You would think he is every single time by the way he reacts. He just doesn't like to get hit, and he's very hittable. I always make fun of people saying that there's an Usman chin because there were like 6 or 7 fights in a row where Kamaru Usman got rocked, but he didn't get knocked out. I think Colby rocked him a few times. Gilbert Burns rocked him. We had who else dropped him? Everyone he fought dropped him until Leon finally caught the button and put him fully out. And whenever someone gets perpetually hurt but doesn't get fully KO'd, I say they have the Usman chin. I wrote that down for Muhammad, and then I realized he literally has an Usman chin. It's his brother. He is literally an Usman. So maybe he knows he's a little suspect to the knockout, and that's why he acts the way he does. Regardless, you can't act that way when you're getting hit, especially against Hamdi overseas. That's a bad look. Can Usman jab him to death and win this fight? Absolutely. And the few times I saw Usman get taken down, he did pop right back up as long as he has, it's one of those cardio days. So I think Usman should be the bet. But because we're overseas, I never want to bet Hamdi at plus, at, I don't know about Hamdi at all. I did bet him against Dontal Mays, but I bet Jamal Pogues against him in that screw job. We've seen Hamdi win two decisions. I know he generally knocks people out in the regional scene, but in the UFC, they are going to decision, especially when he's not on the sauce. Again, he served a 3-year suspension because of him testing positive for steroids after the Dontel Mays fight. So I'll just go ahead and I'll take the over 2.5 at minus 240. I'll probably just start the night out sweating that out over in a low level heavyweight fight because you don't want to pick a side here. Gun to my head, I'm going to take Hamdi, but the best part is probably just take the over 2.5. Next fight of the night. I don't know if they're going to change the bout order. I have no idea why this fight is number two, but whatever it is, what it is. Tagir Ulianbukov at minus 380 going up against Azat Maxim at plus 200. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 260. Under 2.5 at plus 195. Let's start with Tagir Ulianbekov. Tagir is Russian, so he will definitely have the crowd behind him here. He is 33 years old and he's good everywhere. He's very tall and lanky, but he's known as being one of Habib's boys. He's been training with him since they were in like middle school. He has good striking. He has wicked front chokes, like anacondas, ninja chokes, guillotines. He's very, very good at that stuff. With these really, really skinny arms, he knows how to put them to use. So he has good striking. He has good jujitsu. He's been training with Habib in Dagestan. He has good wrestling by default. His cardio's okay. He has a good 2 rounds in him. The third round he can slow down a little, but he doesn't fully gas out. He's fought a pretty decent level of competition. His volume's a little lower. I'm not a fan of that. And he's a little hittable at times. But even when you do take him down, he has good sweeps. Even when you do hit him, he will hit you back. He's overall a very, very, very good fighter. I mean, he's probably top 10 in the weight class. Flyweight's filled with killers, and he's just another one of them. He's a very, very good fighter. On the other side, we have someone in Azat who might be fraudulent, may not be. The verdict is the jury's not out yet on Azat. Azat is 30 years old and he's taking this fight on short notice. That's important here because I've seen him slow down in his fights. He has okay wrestling. He has okay striking. He has good jujitsu. But he's very low volume and very hittable as well. So I made fun of Tagir's volume. Azat throws even less. I do think he hits harder than Tagir, but he throws less and he's hittable is because of that low volume. He's rocking a 66% takedown defense, but a lot of that is because of cardio. People will point to him getting taken down by Charles Johnson multiple times. That was in the later rounds when he was gassed out. He dropped Charles Johnson, went for a anaconda choke for like 3 minutes, eventually couldn't get it, kind of gassed himself out going for the finish. And then just wasn't the same in round 2 and 3. It was a very, very close fight. Pretentious call. It could have gone either way. Ultimately lost its 15-1 record. So is he bad for losing to Charles Johnson? No. Do I think he's good beating Tyson Nam? No, that fight was very close. I kind of thought Tyson won, and I had a lot of money on Azat that day, and I still think Tyson won. So he has 2 outings in the UFC. One was a very controversial win. One was a pretty controversial loss. So I don't know how good he is, but we're going to find out because Tagir is the real deal. But because Tagir, I think, does have the striking edge, because I think Tagir does have the grappling or the wrestling edge at least, and because he has the crowd and a little more volume, I'll go ahead and I'll side with Tagir. I'm going to pick Tagir. I'm going to bet Tagir. And if Azat loses this fight, it's still not saying he's a bad fighter, but he's going to have a ceiling. The next fight, good Lord, we have Irina Alekseeva, the Russian Ronda at minus 270. Yeah, minus 270 for Russian Ronda. Claudia Segula at plus 220. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 160. Under 2.5 plus 125. Let's just start with the Russian Ronda because she's cool as shit. I like this girl a lot. I think she's really, really, really funny. Is she a good fighter? Fuck no. She is not a good fighter at all. She's 34 years old. She's Russian, obviously, Russian Ronda, so she'll have the crowd behind her. And she eats into the crowd, man. She was built for crowds. She has good jujitsu. She has a good judo background. I think she's a judo black belt. So good BJJ and good wrestling. Her striking's okay. It's a little stiff. It's a little robotic, but she does hit decently hard. Her cardio is probably the worst part of her game. She does slow down after round one. It's not often you see women with bad cardio, but Russian Ronda is here. She is kind of just stiff and physically slow. Uh, but she's fun. She talks a lot. Her interviews are funny, and she really, really gets the crowd into her fights. If she wants to wrestle, she wins this pretty easily. Um, if she doesn't wrestle, she could still win this fight standing up. I don't really think too highly of Claudia. I think Claudia is here because of her looks, in all honesty. Claudia is probably, I am a happily married man. I love my wife, but she doesn't watch the pod. So Claudia's hot, but she's not a good fighter. She kind of reminds you of like Paige Van Zant 2.0. She's 26 years old. She's from Poland. She is pretty decent striking, but she can't hit hard whatsoever. Alex Eva's just going to take those shots and throw something 10 times harder. Her jiu-jitsu is not very good. She has two career losses. Both of them are on the ground. One of them by ground and pound, the other one by submission, I want to say. Yeah, submission. So both times she lost is because she got taken down to the ground. Even on the amateur side, she got submitted in the amateurs twice. So well, yeah, the ground game's definitely a problem. And if the ground game is a problem, you need something better than 33% takedown defense. I know it's a very short sample size. She only fought Melissa Mullins. I think she's training at ATT now, which is nice. But Melissa Mullins is a British BJJ girl. She is not a good wrestler. So to get taken down that easily by Melissa is not good. Claudia's cardio is good. But again, she's very pillow fisted. She backs up a ton if she gets hit too hard, and she initiates the grappling sometimes, and she loves her body locks. And that's a problem. I've never seen this girl. This girl doesn't like to get hit, but her best path to victory is striking. This girl doesn't have a good ground game, but she will go for a body lock takedown. You're fighting something in someone in Alexiva who hits harder than you, who's going to make her crumble. And if she goes for a body lock on Irina, the judo black belt, she's going to send her flying. So, all honesty, Alexieva should absolutely decimate Claudia. Um, do I trust her? No, she's not good. But Claudia, I think, is here for luck. So the pick is going to be Alexieva. The bet is going to be Russian Ronda, Alexieva. Next fight of the night. We have the aforementioned Melissa Mullins. Melissa Mullins, Melissa Dixon, whatever you want to call her after she got married. She's a minus 280 favorite going up against Daria Zuliankova at plus 225. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 100. Under 2.5 minus 130. Um, Let's start with Julian or Daria. Daria is a very good striker. She's very, very clean on the feet. One of the best. Honestly, this is going to sound crazy. I think she's one of the best 135-pound strikers in the women's division, which makes sense. She fights at MMA Factory, so she's training with like Cyril Gahn and them. Her striking is very crisp. It's very powerful. It's very fast. I like a lot of what I see on her on the feet. She'll most likely have the crowd behind her, being the Russian fighter. She has decent power for 135. That is not normal to have a ton of knockouts at women's bantamweight, but she does. And her cardio's okay. It's not good. It's not bad, but she can go hard 15 minutes. So she's got power. She's got striking. She's got cardio. What is there not to like? Her fucking ground game. Good Lord. It is bad. It's very, very, very bad. She's rocking a 50% takedown defense in the UFC, and she has two fights in the UFC, so not great. She got taken down by Mazerat Rendon multiple times. And I think Montserrat is the worst 135 pounder I've ever seen in the UFC. She got taken down by Eileen Perez, which is fine because Eileen Perez does have good wrestling. But Perez doesn't finish anyone when she takes you down, and she finished her with an arm triangle on the wrong side. It was like an arm triangle from Mount, actually. It was very odd. It was not normal. Um, yeah, it was not something that someone should succumb to. So I don't think her ground game is bad. I think it's horrible. I think if she hits the ground, she's in serious trouble. And even Manzarat Randone, when she got her down, was able to stay on top. If you're going to have that bad of wrestling, you better have a good get up game. And she just simply does not. So the key is, can she stay off her back? I think the answer is no. And the reason I'm going to say no is because she has two career losses. One to Eileen Perez, getting choked out. Her other career loss, she got ground and pounded and finished on the ground by Melissa Mullins. This is a rematch. No one wants to see this fight again, but we're going to get it, man. Melissa Mullins versus Daria 2.0. Melissa Mullins is 29 years old, or sorry, 33 years old. She does have very good jiu-jitsu. I'll give her that. Her wrestling is not great. Her striking is actually pretty serviceable. It's not as bad as you think. The problem I have with her striking is that she's chinny. She gets dropped all the fucking time, including the first time they fought. When they fought, Daria whooped her ass for the first 2 minutes. But the second Melissa got the takedown, it was a wrap. So this is the definition of striker versus grappler. Yeah, Melissa's cardio's okay, and she does have very, very good top control. I know Daria's ground game is bad, but Melissa's is actually very, very good. When she gets on top, she ain't leaving. She has a wet blanket. So all it takes is one takedown, and that's the round. So this is very difficult. This is a very difficult fight to call because on the feet, Melissa almost got knocked out, and she's been knocked out in all of her losses. She only has one career loss against Nora Cernoli. But she did get dropped by Daria multiple times. She struggled with Claudia on the feet. She got knocked down by Irina Alexeva. She's been knocked down in like three fights and almost out in fights that she won. And then her one career loss is by KO. So you have a chinny grappler against a world class striker with no ground game. I don't want to pick a side, in all honesty. Melissa, I will always trust the grappler versus the striker. But her chin, man. So what I think I'm going to do is just take the under 2.5, and it's minus 130. Like it's women's MMA, and the under is the more likely scenario, and I think that's an appropriate line. So just be safe, don't pick a side, take the under. The pick is going to be Melissa Mullins. The bet's going to be the under 2.5 at minus 130. Next fight of the night, we have Ismail Nordiev at plus 155 going up against Jong Yong Park at minus 185. Over 2.5, minus 175. Under 2.5 at plus 120. Let's start with Ismail Nardiev. He's going to have the crowd behind him. He's 28 years old. He used to be in the UFC. He got cut. He's coming back. And in all honesty, he shouldn't be back. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good at all. I think he has okay striking. I think he has okay wrestling. He has improving jujitsu. His level of competition's all right, but a lot of his fights are at 170 or catch weights of 175. Like he's not a true middleweight. He's only fought at middleweight like two times. Like he's not a middleweight. He is a tweener between 170 and 185. There's a 15-pound gap, and that's why all of his fights were at 175 when he was on the regional scene. But he comes back into the UFC as a middleweight, and he beats the hell out of Bruno Silva. Does that mean anything? No. Bruno Silva said multiple times that he wanted to retire. He doesn't want to be in there when he's in the octagon. So that win means nothing to me. What I do like about Ismail is it seems that he has good cardio. I do like that he'll have the crowd behind him. I like that he has 72% takedown defense. His moniker was like his nickname was like the Austrian Wonder Boy. He's predominantly a striker. He just mixes in takedowns here and there. So he does have uh, it's not good volume, but everything he throws looks cool. So if he has the crowd behind him and they're oohing and eyeing every time he throws something, that is an advantage in his back pocket. He's just a little bit of a generalist, but he has good cardio, and he's just kind of an athlete. On the other side, we have the opposite in Park. Park is nothing to write home about physically when you look at him, but he's also a generalist. He's not good or bad at anything. He's okay at every single aspect of fighting. He has okay striking. He has okay jujitsu. He has good jujitsu. He has okay wrestling. Offensively, defensively, 57% takedown defense. I don't like that. His level of competition's okay. He has good fight IQ. When he faces someone that he can take down easily, he will wrestle. If he faces someone that he can outstrike easily, he will strike. I do love Park's fight IQ. I like his volume. I think he throws a little more than Nardiev, but he doesn't throw as hard. So you have pretty much a wash in wrestling. But if anything, again, Nardiev at 72% takedown defense. So I'll give Nardiev the slight edge in wrestling. I almost called it a wash in jiu-jitsu, but Park has a lot more subs on his record. I'll give the slight edge to Park there. And then in regards to striking, it's going to be volume versus power. Do you want quantity or quality? I want the quality if the crowd is behind me. And mainly because the quality is at plus money. So I could see this fight going either way. I also think Park's cardio is starting to slow just a touch with age. I think his chin, he was known for his iron class durability. Well, he got knocked out by Gregory Robocop Rodriguez 4 years ago. And then we saw him struggling on the feet with Joseph Holmes, which was a little concerning. And then we saw him drop by Brad Tavares in his last fight, and Brad has zero power whatsoever. Yeah, I think we're seeing a declining Iron Turtle slowly but surely, getting taken down 11 times by Andre Muniz. Yeah, he's just physically declining. He's 34 years old. You generally start declining at around 35. So I think Parks is just coming a little early. So for that, I'll take the hometown athlete at plus money. The pick is going to be Nardiev. The bet is going to be Nardiev. Next fight of the night. I don't know what they're doing to me. We have Oban Elliott at minus 485 going up against Sik Yong Ko at plus 370. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 155. Under 2.5 plus 120. Let's start with Oban Elliott. I think Oban Elliott's really, really, really good. I think he has really good striking. I think he has really good wrestling. I think he has good jujitsu. He's 27 years old, so he's entering the prime of his physical prime. He's fought an okay level of competition. His cardio's okay. He can go a hard 15 minutes. He'll slow down in the third, but he can go a hard 15. What's there not to like Oban Elliott? The thing I don't like about Oban Elliott is his fucking chin. Oh my God. I just talked about people having a newsman chin. He doesn't. His chin's worse. This dude has two career losses. They're both by KO. In all of his wins, he's getting dropped. The Kike Brito fight in Contender Series, he got dropped twice. Val Woodburn is one of the worst welterweights I've ever seen. He got dropped. He gets dropped every single fight, and then he comes back and he wins. It's insane. Like you literally go in expecting him to hit the deck and then come back and win for you. Like I don't feel comfortable with that at minus 500. Not at all. Do I think he wins this fight? Yeah, I think he does. Is he really talented? Talented enough to be a top 10 guy? Yeah, I think he's that damn good. But is he minus 500 trustworthy with that chin? Fuck no. I can never trust Oban Elliott at minus 500 with one of the worst chins I've ever seen. On the other side, we have Si Kong Ko, whose chin isn't much better. He fancies himself or calls himself the Korean Tyson or what have you. I don't understand where that nickname came from because he got knocked out by Sasha Pletnikov. And friends don't let friends bet on people who got knocked out by Sasha Pletnikov. So if you don't know who that is, Sasha went to the University at Buffalo. I'm initially from Buffalo. So that was our claim to fame. Hey, we have a UFC fighter. He was terrible. He's one of the worst UFC fighters I've ever seen. He got cut very, very quickly. He's not. We talk about generalists who are okay at everything. He was bad at everything. Like I have no idea how Sasha even made it to the UFC. You know how he did make it to the UFC actually? By getting knockout wins over Sun Young Ko. So yeah, man, Ko's a decent striker, but he's been knocked out on multiple occasions. So he's a good striker with no chin. His wrestling, he showed it off in his Contender Series fight, but he's predominantly a striker. He prefers to stand and bang. And the guy he fought isn't like the greatest wrestler on earth. And the guy he fought also has zero cardio whatsoever. So he was able to take advantage and drag him to a decision, and it was just a war of attrition. He'll mix in that takedown if need be, so he does have good IQ. His cardio's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's serviceable. Um, yeah, man. I just think Oban's the better striker. I think Oban is the better wrestler. If Preston Parsons is going 1 for 9, I don't see Ko getting Elliott down. I think Elliott's the better jiu-jitsu practitioner. I think Elliott's better everywhere. I just think they both can hit decently hard and they both have no chins. So it could be a matter of who hits who first. I don't hate that under 2.5 at plus 120. And that's honestly under 2.5 is probably the way I'm going to attack it at this point because I can't bet Co. I just can't get there, and I can't trust Oban at minus 500. Good lord. So the pick is going to be Oban Elliott. The bet's going to be the under 2.5 at plus 120. I'll take plus money there. Next fight of the night. We are looking at Muhammad Naimov at minus 245, going up against Bogdan Grad at plus 200. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 245. Under 1.5 at plus 185. Let's start with Muhammad Naimov because I think Muhammad Naimov is trash. I don't think he's good at all. Muhammad Naimov is an okay striker. He hits decently hard. His wrestling, he'll mix in here and there, but I mean, defensively, 66% takedown defense. He's getting absolutely worked in the wrestling by Nathaniel Wood, by Jamie Malarkey. He was getting taken down by Nathaniel Wood. I'm like, none of that looks good. His jiu-jitsu is not great at all. We just saw him submitted in his last fight. And again, his striking's not great, his volume's not great, but he does hit decently hard. And when things start to go awry, he'll cheat. He'll grab cages, he'll low blow you, he'll poke you in the eye, whatever he has to do to prolong the fight, he'll do it. Anytime he fights, the draw is an option because there's a chance he wins rounds and then there's a 10-8 along the way because he lost a point. And because he gets tired. His cardio is not great. He does slow down in the third all of the time. And that aforementioned Usman Chin, this dude is due. He gets rocked all the time. Nathaniel Wood rocked him. Philippe Lima rocked him. Jamie Malarkey rocked him. Colin Anglin in Contender Series rocked him. Has he ever been KO'd? No. Has he ever been staring at the sky, not knowing where he is? All the fucking time. At least 4 fights I've seen this dude get rocked badly. He's a little hittable, so that's not a good combination at all. Solo competition's all right, but again, he's low volume. He backs up quite a bit. And although he'll blend in his wrestling, he wants to stand and bang and just throw heavies. He wants to just throw power strikes at you left and right. And eventually, someone's going to put him out. And if he doesn't put you out, he gets tired in the third round. We saw his last loss was because he got submitted in round 3. The win against uh, freaking Nathaniel Wood, he almost got finished in round 3. Like we see this guy struggle in round 3 all the time. On the other side, we have Bogdan Grad, who, if you want to throw heavies, he will oblige. He is 29 years old. He has okay striking. He has good wrestling. He has okay jujitsu, but he throws a ton of volume. He does slow down in his fights, just like Naimov. But he's kind of, I talked about last week. I said Phil Rowe gets tired, but he makes sure you get tired with him, and then you will both be exhausted swinging. That's a strategy. And he's just going to out heart you. That is exactly what Bogdan Grad does. He swings like a madman until he's gassed, but you are gassed because he's grappling you too. You both get tired, and he keeps going. He's a little hittable, but he pressures like crazy. You can chin check him just like you can chin check Naimov. Difference is he's actually gone out. But he also got caught by Tom Nolan, who is a massive lightweight. And this fight's at featherweight. He's fought at both 45 and 155, and then ultimately decided I need to just stay at 145. I'm better at 145. These guys are just too big at 155, and he hasn't lost since making that decision. He's already made the UFC walk, as has Naimov, so this is just straight crazy power striker versus crazy power striker. One guy will mix in wrestling, the other guy will mix in wrestling. One guy's a little chinny, the other guy's a little chinny, but one guy is minus 245 and the other guy is plus 200. I understand that Naimov may have the crowd behind him, but I don't know if that's enough. These odds are making me go Bogdangrad. And I think Bogdangrad has a slightly better cardio. And that's what's going to push me over the edge, the plus money in the cardio. The pick is going to be Bogdangrad. The bet is going to be Bogdangrad. Next fight's another very, very close one. We have Nazim Sadikov at minus 470 going up against Nicholas Mata at plus 360. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 135. Under 1.5 plus 105. Part of the reason I think this fight is really close is because these odds are very wrong. So it's very hard to decide which way to go. Let's start with Nazim Sadikov since we are talking about cheaters. Nazim Sadikov has the most fraudulent UFC record I've ever seen in my entire life. If you break it down step by step, his UFC debut was against Evan Elder. Evan Elder was up 2-0. Sadikov was losing the fight. Evan Elder gets hit in the eye. It causes a cut, and Nazim Sadikov wins the fight. All three judges had Evan Elder up 2-0, but Nazim got the win because of a cut Evan Elder suffered. His next fight was against Terrence T. Rex McKinney. McKinney went out there, dominated him round one, okay? In round two, McKinney goes to take him down. Nazim grabs the cage, blatant cage grab, but the referee just warns him. As he grabs the cage, Terrence McKinney's arm gets trapped behind him. Sadikov literally has it to where he takes his back, he holds onto the cage, takes his back, and Terrence McKinney's arm is trapped and stuck from the fence hold, and then Nazim rear naked chokes him since Terrence only had one arm. Like, first of all, they should have stood them back up or given Terrence a takedown, something. But instead, he just got a warning, got Terrence's arm, and ultimately got the choke. So he got lucky with the cut. He then blatantly cheated. And then his very next fight, he goes out there and he fights Slava Claus. Slava Claus is known as a great striker. What does he do? He goes out there and loses round one to Slava Claus. He realizes, I cannot outstrike this guy. I'm going to grapple. He starts to grapple Slava Claus and then catches him with a mean right hook. Drops Slava real badly. 10-8 Slava. And what does he do instead of killing him? He gets tired and takes off round three. And Slava, dazed Slava, not knowing where he is, comes back and wins round three. So Slava wins 1-3. Nazim gets a 10-8 in round two, which results in a draw. So right now, he has a cut finish, a cheating finish, and a draw. So you're like, okay, this is going to be the real deal. He's fighting Ismail Bonfim, who's a pretty decent fighter. But Bonfim has had a lot of weird stuff happen, like his arm breaking mid-fight, etc. Like, there's no way something weird happens for a fourth time in a row. Guess again. Bonfim is killing Nazim Sadikov, killing him. And then ultimately Nazim throws a head kick. When he throws that head kick, it like cuts the eye, like the inner orbital or something. Like a freak thing. You see people throw head kicks all the time. How many times do people's toes scrape people's eyes? Like it's very rare. But of course, it's a Nazim fight, so everything's on the table. He scratches his eye. Ismail said he cannot continue because he can't see to the doctor, and the doctor stops the fight, and he gets a doctor stoppage. So this man has had 4 fights in the UFC. 4. He has a cut stoppage in a fight he was losing. He has a submission win in a fight where he cheated blatantly, and everyone watched him. He got warned by the ref. He has a draw, and then he has a doctor stoppage in a fight he was losing because his toe got stuck in the guy's eye. What the actual fuck is going on with Nazim Sadikov? Is he good? No, not really. He'll have the crowd behind him. He's in his hometown, but he's 31 years old. He is okay striking. He hits decently hard. I'll give him that. But his wrestling's just okay. His jiu-jitsu's just okay. His volume's good. But he's a little hittable himself. Again, all these guys, Evan Elder, Ismail Bonfim, all these guys are outstriking him. Terrence McKinney or Slaviclaus, all three of them outstruck him. Terrence McKinney was out wrestling him. Like he can wrestle and strike, but he's not the greatest at any of them. So I don't think he's a bad fighter. But I don't think he should be this big of a favorite, especially over Mata. Mata's not as bad as people think. He's 32 years old. He has good striking. He hits just as hard as Nazim, and I've seen Nazim wobbled quite a few times. The problem is Mata has no chin whatsoever. Like if you hit Mata's chin, he's going out. Is he very good at protecting his chin? Absolutely. But he has 5 career losses and he's been finished 5 times. His jiu-jitsu is not great. He's like a purple or brown belt. He's getting better and he's improving, and you see him getting better. His striking, though, is very good. It's very powerful. It's a little lower volume. I do think that Nazim throws more than Mata. And Mata is a little hittable because of how little he's throwing. When he does throw, though, he throws heat. His takedown defense is sitting at 82% takedown defense. So I don't think Nazim's going to just go out there and out grapple Mata the way that Trey Ogden did. Trey Ogden's a much better grappler than Nazim Sadikov. So if this is a stand up war, especially Nazim in his hometown, he could definitely go out there and clip Mata right away and make it look like he's a minus 800 favorite. Or he can go out there and lose striking fights like he did to all of his other opponents until something fucking crazy happens. God knows what's going to happen. I low key will probably bet the draw, just because some weird shit always happens with Nazim. I might bet the draw on Muhammad Naimov too because he always cheats. So I might have two draws out there. At the end of the day, I'm going to pick Nicholas Mata. I do think he's the better striker, and I think this is a striking fair. And at plus 330, hell yeah, I'm in on or plus 360. I'm definitely in on Nicholas Mata. I'll have a bet on Mata, and I might get crazy. I might even take him because they're in Nazim's hometown. I could see this getting real greasy. Mata by split is plus 2,200. That's on the table. Him, Mata just by decision is plus 800. That's on the table. Mata might get smoked out in 1 minute, 30 seconds. He has no chin. Jim Miller knocked him out just like 2 years ago. But if Mata wins, it's probably a decision. And if Mata's getting a decision, I think I might bet the split. I might bet the decision, and I might just bet Mata and make my whole night in one fight. Pick is going to be Mata. Bet's going to be Mata. Next fight of the night, we will go ahead and we'll side with Azerbaijan for the first time. We have Tafik Musayev at plus 140 making his UFC debut against Mikbek Oralbai at minus 165. Over under set at 1.5. Over 1.5 minus 245. Under 1.5 plus 185. Let's start with Oralbai. Or you know what? Let's start with Tafik. Tafik is a really good striker. He will definitely have the crowd behind him as we're in his hometown. But he's 35 years old. He's a little older. His wrestling, offensively, not great. Defensively, he does have really solid takedown defense. His striking, he hits really, really hard. He has 22 career wins. 20 of them are by finish. And I think 18 of them are by KO. So, like, if the dude hits you, you go out. His cardio is good. He can do it for 15 minutes. He'll slow down in a 5 rounder, but in a 3 rounder, he can go 15. He does love to move forward and he loves to move lateral. He's very, very, very hard to hit when he's out there. His level of competition is good. He's been fighting guys over in Risen and Bellator, which are very serviceable regional. They're very serviceable programs there. But at the end of the day, he's just a striker with really, really, really good takedown defense. And sometimes if they can't take you down, that's all you need because he is a fucking athlete on the feet. He's very elusive. He's very hard to hit, and when he hits you, he hits very hard. Again, 20 finishes out of 22 wins. That is absolutely insane. That is consistent. On the other side, we have another finisher in Oralbai. He's 27 years old. He has a 2 inch reach advantage. He has good wrestling. He has okay striking, but he hits really, really hard. He's rocking a 40% takedown defense, where that absolutely shocks me. But a lot of that was the Rebecca fight. And a lot of it's because he slows down. The Els Brenner fight as well. He gets tired. Round 3, he is not the same, and he is hanging on for dear life. His volume's okay, but goddamn, he's hittable. He does not believe in head movement. If you throw any punches, he's not moving his head, and that's going to be an issue against a KO artist and Musayev. And I've seen Oral by Rock before, so it wouldn't be the first time. His level of competition's okay, and he loves to pressure forward and try to put your lights out. But him not moving his head, just pressuring forward, seems tailor made for Musayev, who moves laterally and counter strikes and takes your head off. Yeah, it's his hometown. They're signing him, not setting him to the contender series. This is a total setup fight for Tafiq. And he's plus money. So that's the only way I can look. The pick is going to be Musayev. Bet is going to be Musayev. You'll say Bellator and Risen aren't as good as UFC, and I agree with you. But Mitrovic is not that crazy step up that you're taking. One crazy step up is Curtis Blades, and that's why he's a minus 280 favorite, going up against Rizvan Kuniev at plus 225. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 110. Under 2.5 minus 120. Let's start with Curtis Razor Blades. He is good. He's 34 years old. He has a 4-inch reach advantage. He has good wrestling. He has good striking. His jiu-jitsu's not great, but it's heavyweight, so no one's is. He has good cardio. He's known for his cardio. His takedown defense is a weird number, but a lot of that was skewed by the 11 round one takedowns by Jailton Almeida. But Jailton didn't take him down 9 or 11 times or whatever it says. They were mat returns. I personally, as a wrestler, don't consider mat returns a takedown. If you get a takedown in wrestling, you get 2 points. If you get a mat return, you get nothing. You already have a hold of them. You're already behind them. That's not really a takedown. And the UFC is very infrequent with whether they give you credit for a takedown with that mat return or not. They're all over the place. So Jailton realistically only got 2 takedowns, not 11. So just be weary of that. But outside of that, Blades has fought a great level of competition. He throws decent volume. He is good everywhere. And the thing at heavyweight, if you can wrestle and you have cardio, you have an advantage. Curtis Blades has both. So he is going out there and dominating. The one knock on Curtis Blades is his chin. People are going to say it's because he only fought power punchers. He got knocked out by Francis, who's hits the hardest ever, and knocked out by Tom Aspinall, the current champion, who hits really, really hard. He got knocked out by Derek Lewis, the most knockouts ever. He got knocked out by Sergey Pavlovich, like probably the second hardest puncher ever. So yeah, only big guys have put him out, but they're not taking a lot of effort. And I've seen him rocked by Alexander Volkov, who's not a heavy hitter. I've seen him rocked badly by Jairzinho Rosenstruck, who does hit hard, but he just straight drops him down to the ground. Let's not pretend like some of these fights he's winning. He's not also getting rocked. So yeah, I do think he's a really, really, really good fighter. I think he is championship level. Is he going to be able to beat the Russian and who can kind of stuff takedowns that he's not used to? I think so. Kuziev is 32 years old. He has good wrestling. He's predominantly a striker, though. He's like a wushu master. He's gonna have the crowd behind him for sure, being the Russian over in Azerbaijan. He is making his UFC debut and he's fought an okay level of competition. But he's looked good and he's looked bad. And I'm like, why does this guy have the tale of two tapes? Why is he Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? It's mainly because this is an easy fight to call. This dude popped for steroids a lot. So if he comes in and he has like an 8 pack and he's looking good out there, you bet Kuniev at plus 200. But if he comes out looking like this with the beer gut, you go, oh my God, he's going to die out there. You bet against Cunha. That's what it comes down to. We're over in another country. He might be pumped up on all the good stuff. Do not bet this fight until weigh-ins, because if he's on all the sauce, he's going to knock out Curtis Blades. If he's on nothing, he's probably going to get absolutely killed by Curtis Blades. And that's what it comes down to. Wait until face-offs, wait until weigh-ins, and then we'll be able to actually make a decision in regards to who we are betting. But all in all, he's a generalist. He's Russian, so he can wrestle by default. And he does wushu, so which is a really good striking. He can go 15 minutes to slow down a little, but he can go a hard 15. He's okay jujitsu. He can do it all. He's actually a decent fighter, and he'll win a lot of fights at heavyweight. It's just fighting a top three, top five guy in Curtis Blades in your debut is a tough ask. So the pick is going to be Curtis Blades. The bet is going to be Curtis Blades. Then that takes us to the co-main event of the evening. We have Ignacio Bahamondes at minus 120 going up against Rafael Fiziev at plus 100. Over under set at 2.5. Over 2.5 minus 165. Under 2.5 plus 130. Let's start with Bahamondes. Bahamondes is good, man. He has really, really, really good striking. He's 27 years old, so he's just entering his prime. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. He throws a ton of volume. As he's getting older, he's starting to grow into his man strength, and you're seeing him get a lot of finishes recently. Triangle choke against Jalen Turner, counter pull. He pulled the hell out of Manuel Torres as a pull counter, and knocked him the hell out in round one. Christos Giagos went out there and head kicked him. Yeah, he's going out there and he's getting finishes now. And before he's getting chokes and stuff with Rangju, he's going to decision with John McDesky and Trey Ogden. But in these last few years, he's grown into his man muscles, and his last three wins are all by finish. He's a good fighter. He's a long fighter. He's the tallest guy. He's like 6'3" at lightweight. He has 85% takedown defense. He has good volume. The only problem I have with him is the fact that we've seen this fight before. Him versus Ludovic Klein is basically him versus Rafael Fiziev, because Fiziev and Klein are the exact same fighter. Fiziev has really good striking. He's 32 years old, and he'll have the crowd in this matchup, so please be aware of that. He throws good volume. He has 90% takedown defense, just like Klein. He has good striking and hits decently hard, just like Klein. He's short and compact and very muscular, just like Klein. His cardio's okay, but he'll slow down a little in round three, just like Klein. Everything is exactly the same. Now you can chin check Fiziev, that's a little different, and he is a little bit more hittable than Klein. But at the end of the day, that Klein fight wasn't even close. It's a short, stocky guy that was able to get inside, was able to hit Ignacio really hard and look very, very good and pleasing to the judges. And then when Ignacio gets pissed, and because he does get pissed, he has that Mexican pride. He'll come in and he'll just start stalling off and swinging on you, or he's Chilean. But when he does do that, you can take him down. 85% takedown defense is good when he's expecting it. When he's sitting there and he goes into brawl mode, you can take him down, and we've seen Fiziev do that. We've seen him take down Justin Gaethje. We've seen him take down RDA, Brad Riddell, just to show them that he can, and to look good to the judges. So at the end of the day, I do think Bahamondes' volume should be the answer. I think his durability should be the answer, and Bahamondes is going to be the pick. But the fact that we have the harder punches coming from Fiziev in his hometown, if he survives, we have some tomfoolery going on with these judges. And this is the last Azerbaijan guy on the entire card, because the main event is an all American affair. They're going to want to send these people off with a hometown win. So the pick is going to be Bahamondes. The bet's going to be Fiziev and some grease. This also might go to a split decision. Expect the unexpected on this fight card, baby. That takes us to the main event. If you haven't already, smash the like, give a follow over on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever there's social media. There's a Stacks and Stacks podcast. We have Jamal Hill at plus 115 going up against Khalil Rountree Jr. at minus 135. Over under set at 3.5. Over 3.5 plus 170. Under 3.5 minus 220. Let's start with Hill. Hill was good. Hill dominates Khalil Rountree 4 years ago. Hill, coming off of his ruptured Achilles, has not been the same guy. He's 34 years old now. He will have a 2.5-inch reach advantage, which I like, especially for this matchup. He has good striking. He has really good cardio, especially for 205. His jujitsu's sneaky. He's actually not a bad jujitsu practitioner. He throws a ton of volume, really, really high volume. He's on a good level of competition, but his wrestling's not great. His get up game is good. His takedown defense is not. And he's just physically slower, just really a lot slower after this Achilles injury. That Achilles injury, it ends careers. And it might have done that to Hill. It may not have, to be determined. He's only had two fights since the surgery, and it was Poatan and it was Yuri. So the two former champs, not easy when you're healthy, but he came in with double knee pads. I've never seen him wear a knee pad. He came in with two. His knees are not okay. Now, it's been a while since the Achilles injury. And his last fight was in January, so it's been 6 months since we saw double knee pads. This is where the controversy is. He had an interview where he said his knee is still not 100%. His legs are still not 100%, but he said they feel better. Most of the time, when you have him coming in with double knee pads, or anyone you saw Francis Ngannou coming in with a knee sleeve against Cyril Gane, they tell you they are fine. Then they give a knee pad, and you're like, holy shit, they're not okay. They lied. He told the truth. He said it's not 100%. But if you give me 80% Jamal Hill, I think he wins this fight. Khalil Rountree is a little overrated, in my opinion. First and foremost, he's 35 years old, which is when you start to tail off. Brandon Hill's 34, and Hill's chin is starting to go, so Khalil Rountree could catch him. But I think that's the only way he wins this fight. Khalil is good striking, he has good power, but his volume's a little lower. He's kind of hittable. His cardio's all right, but he slows down quite a bit, especially in a 5 rounder. He has 58% takedown defense. He has no ground game whatsoever. We've seen people like Olian Chaychuk and other people just take him down and dominate him. You talk about Jamal Hill's chin. We saw Johnny Walker knock out Khalil Roundtree. We saw Tyson Pedro took him down and choked him out. We've seen Khalil Roundtree knocked out on more than one occasion. We saw Alex Pereira knock him out in his last fight. Everyone's just giving him a lot of credit for going in and dropping Pereira and being up 2-0. But ultimately, he didn't get the job done because he slowed down. And this is another 5 rounder against a guy that can push a pace. Roundtree hits harder, but Hill throws more. He could go out there and just throw a leg kick, or those oblique kicks, or whatever you want to call them, and take out Hill's knee and end his career. I could definitely see that. But I feel like Hill knows he's going to attack his legs the entire time, and if he is an answer and he's ready, he can just outwork and outpace Roundtree. He throws like 3 times as much volume as Roundtree. They are both chinny. They both hit decently hard. Does Roundtree hit harder? Yes, but Hill's cardio is the great equalizer there. Hill can't wrestle to save his life, but if they somehow end up on the ground, Hill has a ground advantage too. So Hill throws more volume. He has better cardio. He's better on the ground. He just has no knees. Meanwhile, Khalil Roundtree, he hits very, very hard. That's it. He also has a knee injury. Actually, come to think of it, when we were watching him in the stands the other day, and I forgot what event they were at, he had a knee brace on. Neither one of these fuckers have knees. Jamal has 2 bad knees. Roundtree has one, but Roundtree doesn't have cardio, and I think cardio and volume are king here. If he does not knock out Hill, which only 2 people have been able to do, um, it's been back to back. But I don't think Roundtree throws enough to do it. So the pick is going to be Jamal Hill. The bet's going to be Jamal Hill at plus money. And that's UFC Baku. Do I feel good about it? Absolutely not. Are we going to make money? God, I hope so. This one's going to be great if we make money. And just remember, it's on at Eastern, noon Eastern. It is overseas. It's going to be on super early on ABC. So don't forget to tune in. Let's get after it.